woke up really early this morning. And yeah, it was about 5 minutes to 5 actually. And I had been dreaming that I was talking to a friend, or an acquaintance maybe I should say. His name was Jake. I won't give you his last name. Anyway, Jake and I were standing there talking, and I was developing a cramp, or a Charlie horse, or whatever you call it where you live, muscle spasm, in the calf of my leg. And we were talking about this, and he was saying something to the effect of, yeah, those can be really painful, or something like that. Well, about that time, I start to wake up. And it turns out I really do have a cramp in my leg. But it was in my shin. Not one of those really violent ones where you're just sort of saying, oh Lord, take me now. You know, it wasn't something like that. But it was enough that I knew I wasn't going to be going back to sleep. So I got up. So I've been up now for quite a while. Well, right now it's about 1 minute after 8. And so I thought I may as well get started here. Oh, by the way, now you know what was in that box that came yesterday. And actually there was a big yellow pail that came with it. That's why the box was so big. Anyway, I could have ordered the proper handle to go in this, but I was sort of hoping I could make something up and save the money. And I've got this thing here. Now, I try to remember what was it that I used this for. Like, for some reason, I made this up and sharpened the end, and I think it had something to do with the big clock series, but I can't remember what I used it for. And that kind of bothers me that I can't remember. Why did I make this up? Anyway, the idea is, I think if I put this on here, it's kind of a tight fit, but of course you can't screw it on. There's no threads in here. This is designed for its own handle that they want you to spend extra money on. Well, for just washing the windows, I don't think I need it. So anyway, I'm just going to use good old duct tape here that I have pre-cut. And I think that the duct tape is stronger this way than it is this way. So that's why I've cut them like this, and I'm going to get them on like this. Pull them nice and tight. I think it'll be stronger. Now I took this thing out because all that's going to happen is it's just going to get all rusty from the water. And who knows, maybe I'll need a bolt with a little pointy end on one end. Oh, by the way, you probably noticed that you're looking out a different window. Normally I'll have the camera looking out that window. Well, I got it looking out the side window over there. Well, it's not really the side window, it's the other front window. But usually you don't see out that window from the model table. Okay, now maybe if I just go around this way a little bit. Now I pull it really tight as I go around. I'm not doing a very good job here, but I don't think it's going to fall off. Okay, yeah, saved myself a few bucks. Alright, now the idea is I'll be able to do my front window. Well, not from the model table. I will have to go outside. Anyway, enough nonsense. Let's see if we can do something model-y here today. Okay, I guess going on almost 2 hours has passed now. I was having lots of fun editing out those last few minutes that you just saw. You know, speeding up the video to make it shorter. And I was thinking about this duct tape, and because I had heard myself say something about how I thought it was stronger if you try to break it this way than it would be if you were to try and do it this way. However, if that's the case, why is it that I can take it and rip it like this? It shouldn't rip like that if it's got, you know, a whole bunch of strands running, you might say longitudinally. I can't say that word. Now, for goodness sakes, Ron, why didn't you just say lengthwise? Anyway, you know what I mean. If the strands are running this way to give it strength so that it doesn't want to rip like this, why was it so easy to rip across those? You know, it shouldn't be that way. Now, it could be that duct tape is designed differently. Now, I know this isn't going to be a duct tape show. I mean, this isn't the red-green show. However, that was a funny show, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah, it could be that it's designed in such a way so that when you wrap the tape around a pipe, around the seam of a pipe, like a duct for your furnace, it makes it so that the pipe won't pull apart. You know, I don't know. Maybe I should do a test, but not today. Anyway, yeah. Maybe when I tape my mop handle to that squeegee, it could be that I did it the wrong way. It might have actually been a lot easier if I'd have just gone. You know what I mean? Anyway. Now, let's get on with the model. It is a beautiful day for spraying. Yeah, it must be about, I'm guessing about 22 degrees Celsius out there right now. And we can open all our windows. Now, these ones here, if you remember, we did with the black brass. So we don't need to worry about them. And this is the stynel res that we'd used, must be going on close to, well, it's last summer anyway. And I had a little bit extra with the 20% of Mr. Color Leveling Thinner, and I cannot get the lid off, and I have really tried. So I think what I'm going to try to do first is see if we can't, where's my stynel res here? Okay, I just want to see if maybe we can't spray the stynel res just plain, like we did on the Bismarck railings. If you remember, I was using the Mr. Color Leveling Thinner with the stynel res the last time because the stynel res just didn't want to spray, but you know, it sounds fairly thinned. Now, of course, it isn't. But it says on the instructions on it that you don't need to thin it, and of course we didn't when we did the Bismarck railings. So I'm going to just try it one more time. Maybe I'm going to increase the pressure a little bit, you know, bring it up close to 30 pounds, and then, well, first I'll try it around 20, and then I'll just slowly increase it. And if it's not going to work, well, then we'll use the Mr. Color. These really small ones here, like you're not going to be able to see them. So what I'll do is I'll put the macro lens on, and they're going to be kind of hard to paint. Like it's at a bit of an angle, and I have to kind of go in on the same plane as this, if you know what I mean. So they may not work on the rotator. We'll see how it goes. I can just hold them in my hand, right? Okay, here's what's happened. I've mixed up another batch of diluted stynel res. I mix it up 60-40. In other words, it's about 60 Stynylrez res and 40 Mr. Color. And we'll see how this goes. It just wasn't working before. Oh, I can smell that Mr. Color already. Oh my goodness. What's happened here? I can't use this. This is thicker than it was before. You know, there's probably something wrong with this Stynylrez. Yeah, there must be something wrong with this Stynylrez because it actually got thicker. Now maybe I'll show you here. Okay, watch when I pour this. I mean, this shouldn't look like this. Yeah, it's actually it's almost gelling. Yeah, I wonder if this I don't know what to say here. I just want to show you what happened here because probably you couldn't see. But this stuff it almost gelled. It should be really runny, but it's not. It's you know, I increased the pressure after, you didn't see me do it, but I increased the pressure of the airbrush up to about 45 pounds or so, and then it started to sort of, you might say, splatter out. Yeah, it shouldn't be thick like that. Not with the, you know, 40% Mr. Color. So there was probably some sort of chemical reaction. You know, I wonder if possibly it's because I shook it in my paint shaker instead of stirring it. Could that have had something to do with it? I don't know. All I know is I'm just going to leave it for a while. I was going to throw this out, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just hang on to it. And yeah, I'll check it tomorrow and see if it's maybe thinned itself out by some miracle. And in which case maybe I'll try it again. In the meantime, let's spray some of those parts that have to be sprayed with the XF22. Okay, we're all cleaned up and ready for the next time. The Tamiya XF22 sprayed really well. I don't know what ratio of thinner to paint there was because I mixed it up, I thinned it out quite a while ago, but I imagine it was probably about, I'm guessing, 2/3, 1/3. In other words, 1/3 thinner. I just can't remember. Anyway, as far as the Stynylrez goes, I do recall, way back when we were having trouble before with it, receiving comments to the effect of it kind of goes bad after a while. In other words, there's a bit of a shelf life to it. It seems to me that I remember Nigel saying something about it, and it wasn't positive. So I do know that it worked absolutely wonderful when we first got it. Tony, you're the Stynylrez expert. Have you had any experience with this stuff going bad after a while? Should I maybe get some new stuff? Anyway, I guess you can hear the kids outside playing. Okay, well, let's see what else we can do this afternoon. We still got maybe half an hour left. I'm presently down in my workshop, and I'm in the area that I refer to as my metal room. And yeah, it's because where most of my metal working tools are, except for this one. This is a sort of a scroll saw. In fact, that's exactly what it is. It's not sort of, it's actually a scroll saw. And it's a really good one. There's a switch on the floor that I press down on, and it's extremely smooth. And it's variable speed. I can slow it right down. And you remember yesterday we were talking about that thing that Click Spring had in his workshop? Well, a couple of the viewers clued me in as to what that's actually called. It's called a die filer. And afterwards I was thinking, why couldn't I convert? I wouldn't want to do too much converting because I don't want to wreck this thing. It's one of the best scroll saws you can get, and I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, it's a real good scroll saw. So I don't want to wreck it to convert it into a die filer. Now I can take the little blade out of there, and I can put in a sanding belt, like it'll turn into a little miniature sander, and then you bring your work up against the side of the sandpaper, and it kind of works. It seems to me I tried it. I wasn't all that impressed as far as the sander goes. But for really delicate work, you can bring your part in nice and slow and up against how about a file? I think I could probably modify something that would. Anyway, I'm rambling here, aren't I? It's just an old man's dream. It was just a thought. I mentioned to a couple of the viewers that I was thinking, that maybe I could use my scroll saw. And one of the viewers, I said, we'll talk about it today. So we talked about it. But I think we run out of time to do any more talking. And I'm going to have to say thanks for watching. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.